Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with day 3 of Grail Knight week. You guys have been loving the old world content, lots of positivity, lots of nice comments, lots of views. So I'm more than happy to continue this crazy journey with you guys. So like I said, Monday we did a red and blue scheme, Tuesday we did a yellow and black scheme, and for Wednesday I'm going to pull on a thread that is the kind of thing that has excited me about Knights for pretty much my entire life, and that's the traditional Crusader Knight of old, the historical variant, the black and white kind of scheme. I'm going to push it a little bit more fantasy. I'm going to go for kind of black into grey and kind of more of a bony creamy colour for the accents. It definitely still sells as a Knight Templar of old, but it fits into this unit way better. Like I said, this army is being painted up for an event I'm attending at Underworld Gaming here in Dublin. That is a local independent store here, and they run events every single weekend. They're absolutely fantastic. And they are running the first Old World tournament in Ireland this Saturday, and I'm very excited to be attending it. Also, I managed to get a ticket for the first Old World tournament being run at Warhammer World, which is coming up in this April. And I'm very excited to be attending that as well. I don't know if a bunch of you guys have managed to get tickets, going to be there as well, but if you do, make sure you stop by and say hello. I would love to see you all and check out your armies. Okay, but before I get into the video, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are awesome. Without you, I would not be able to continue doing what I'm doing. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. If you're interested in getting involved, supporting the channel and helping me grow, there's links in the description below to that. Access to a private Discord server and an extra video every single week is just 2 of the awesome benefits of being involved. Okay, without further ado, let's get painting another Grail Knight. Okay, so this is the knight for today's Grail Knight video. I think it's the champion. It's who I'm going to call the champion anyway. I think it's the champion body and the champion head. Just all the Grail Knights are so ornate that it is kind of hard to tell sometimes. I mean, every single one of the unit can accept challenges as if they were champions, which I think is a particularly cool rule. I was only thinking the other day that it would be very cool if they had a rule where the unit could break apart and you could put individual Grail Knights into other units to lead them and fight with them. I thought about that after I was reading Lord of the Lance, the new Graham McNeill novel that came out from Games Workshop about Bretonnians. So for this miniature, I gave him the traditional spray black and then spray grey seer. And then we started off with Black Templar. I'm going for the kind of Knights Hospitaller style painting scheme from the Crusades. Well, kind of the Knight Ballers. It's one of the Crusader schemes. The traditional black and white one, which is basically what my Black Templars are as well. And I'm going for the same kind of style as I did for my Black Templars. Instead of going for pure white on the shields and other details, I'm going to go for kind of an off-white creamy color, which I think sets with the black a little bit better. So I went in for some Skeleton Horde and then applied that to all of the bits that I intend to do up in bone. So that was, of course, the 4 shields on the side of the horse, the inside of the shield, the bit of the reins, the lance, and his cape are all going to go that kind of bone color. From here, we're going to go for Cygor Brown, and this is just another random color I've chosen for a horse. Every single horse so far, I've just grabbed a random, creamy or browny contrast color, and I've just applied it to the entire horse. No other thought has gone into it whatsoever. But it does give a really nice effect. And like I said, with these miniatures, if you've been following along with the series, you don't see a lot of the horse. Nobody sees or cares about the horse. It's the majority of all the barding and all the nice bright colors and stuff that come with a Bretonnian Grail Knight that people are focusing on. So you don't really notice if you put 10 hours of work into painting the horse, or whether you just threw a contrast and a shade over the top of it. I don't think it really matters. This is, of course, the 3rd Grail Knight in the series, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we do only have 2 left. So by the end of Friday's video, I should have my full 1000-point Bretonnian force fully painted and ready for this event on the weekend. I am very much looking forward to participating in it and TOing it, helping people learn some of the rules, and then having a good time. It's not supposed to be specifically a tournament, so let's hope a bunch of people don't show up with massive power gaming armies. We do just want to play nice, cool, relaxed games, and as a group learn how to play and kind of get a feel for what old world events will be like. Whereas opposed to when I go to Warhammer World in April and participate in their first Old World tournament, I have a feeling there's going to be some fairly hardcore players there, and it is going to be a couple of tough games, is what I'm predicting to have over the course of that weekend. As you can see, I'm doing the usual and just throwing my base coats across the Grail Knight. I'll do Lead Belcher for the silver parts, Retributor Armor Gold for the gold parts, black, Skeleton Horde, Cygor Brown for the horse. It's all very quick, very accessible, and very easy to get the knights done with all of their base coats. And then, of course, after that, we're just going to throw a shade down on top of it. While the shade is drying, we're, of course, going to go ahead and add some texture to the base. And I basically went on lunch after that, and by the time I got back, the texture paste was indeed dry, so I could just finish up the basing before I started any of the layering process, which was super handy for me. So some of you may not agree with the use of Nuln Oil across all these different Grail Knights because they are so bright and vibrant. But I just wanted to keep the tone fairly similar. And if you've noticed from the first two, I've gone, you know, with the black shade, I've worked up red and blue, and then I've worked up yellow and black, and they've all worked out still quite bright and vibrant. But they almost look kind of black lined a little bit. And I think that's due to the Nuln Oil effect that we give it. It also works wonderfully on all the metallics and stuff like that, and especially with a miniature like this with all the black details, it works a treat. So with the base done and the miniature shaded, it was time to start the layering process. And like the first two videos and like the first two knights that we painted, from here on in we're going to switch out for Duncan Rhodes paints. That is at least for the primary colors on the barding, so for the black part and the cream part we're going to use that. So we're going to use Death Reaper and Dungeon Stone Grey, just like I did yesterday for the black parts of the yellow and black knight, to layer up all of the fabric on this guy. Once again, we're going to go for a slightly more solid coat with the Dark Reaper color, the Death Reaper color. And then when it comes to the Dungeon Stone Grey, that's when we're going to go in and use our kind of scratchy technique. We're almost like feathering through the material just to add that kind of texture to the model. Like I said, I'm planning on doing all my Grail Knights these unique color schemes, so I still have 2 more to do this week, and I'm still unsure of a particular color scheme for those 2. The red and blue is one I've always wanted to do, and the yellow and black is one I wanted to do after watching Eric's video. The black and cream was what I was originally planning on doing for all of my Grail Knights. I was just going to have one full unit of these kind of more historical looking knights, and then being kind of the most badass versions of them. But since I'm only doing it on a single night, that means I do have to come up with 2 more schemes, and I'm not 100% sure as to what 2 I'm going to go for just yet. Grail Knights as well are something that is just very, very interesting. They are, of course, the most elite unit in the Bretonnian book. For anyone who is unsure of what a Grail Knight actually is, a Grail Knight is a Bretonnian knight who has achieved an epic deed. They have gone out onto the battlefield, they have slain a knight or slain an enemy warlord or like done something like some crazy heroic deed. And when they've done the crazy heroic deed, the lady will then show herself to the knight and allow the knight to drink from her chalice. So the holy chalice, the symbol that's all over all these miniatures, and obviously who they fight for is the lady. And when they do drink from this chalice, they basically get superhuman powers. They become basically the Space Marines of the Bretonnian knights. They're all weapon skill 6 and 7. They're initiative 6. They're super fast, super strong. In fact, in the recent book I just read, you find out the Grail Knight in that is nearly 300 years old. So not only does it make them stronger and faster and better fighters, it also imbues them with long-lasting life, so they continue to fight in the lady's name and the lady's honor. I think that book really did unlock something in me as to how special one of these Grail Knights actually is. In the book, there's hundreds of knights, but there's only a single Grail Knight in the story. And now here's me rolling into battle with 5 of these guys. And that's kind of the reason. The book gave me even more reverence than I already had for Grail Knights. Which means that I really wanted to give them a good job. I wanted them to seem special. When you look across my army, your eyes immediately fixate on the Grail Knights. You think, whoa, that's a special unit there. And so far, I'm quite happy with the results I've been achieving with the first 2 schemes. And then, of course, tackling it with the 3rd scheme, which I know is a much more muted scheme than the first 2. The first 2 were quite bright and vibrant. And although this is black and cream, I definitely still wanted to keep it vibrant. I wanted to make it match. Once again, we're going to go back to talking about that tonal idea. I need this black and cream to match in with the tones of the yellow and black and the red and blue. And having been recording this with the retrospective actually seeing it finished, I think I managed to pull it off, and I am quite pleased with the final result. As you can see, I wasn't really happy with the skeleton horde contrast. That didn't really give me the base. So instead of just going for the mid-tone and the highlight, like I did with the black and all the other Duncan's paints I've been working on through this week, I actually went through all 3 stages with the bone and worked the whole way up to give me the result that I wanted with the bone. And I am really pleased with how it turned out. I definitely feel with, you know, not having the gaudy white like present, I think it adds something to this scheme. Maybe I'm wrong. Can you imagine the grey and just like pure white? If you guys have seen my Black Templars, they are the same thing. Black Templars are supposed to have these bright white shoulder pads, and I've substituted them for kind of a cream color. And I just think they look better. They just look really good. Anyone who looks down at a table of Black Templars, they don't notice it. They don't say, oh, they're painted wrong or whatever. It's just, it clicks in their head that it is correct, which I suppose is a really good thing. I did remember to do the Fulgurite Copper before the Ironbreaker this time around, thank God. So we took out some Fulgurite Copper and we highlighted up all the gold parts of this particular miniature, which is mostly the detail on his shield, his headdress, and then a couple of other bits and pieces on kind of sword hilts and pommels and stuff. So once we got those all done with the Fulgurite Copper, then of course we're going to move over to our Ironbreaker, and we're going to highlight all the metallics. Obviously the armor of the beautiful knight. Don't forget things like the tips of the lance and stuff. And while we were here, we are also going to go in with the Lead Belcher and highlight all of the gold as well. Using a couple of touch highlights can really make that gold jump off the miniature and seem finished. As you see, I don't spend a lot of time. It's a very quick process highlighting the silver. In fact, every kind of step on painting these knights has been fairly quick. Like if I hadn't decided to paint this guy like this, I could be more than happy to paint up a unit of Knights of the Realm all in this scheme. Have a whole big lance of 10 of these guys and I would be super happy. I of course went in and applied then transfers to this guy. So I went for the Black Templar crosses because I felt like it matched in with that crusading theme. It's the same symbol that I used for my first unit of Knights of the Realm in the kind of Kingdom of Heaven blue scheme. I went for slightly more ornate crosses. You can't actually tell in this, but there is a bit of gold banding that goes around all of those crosses. And I really like how the final result is. This is our finished Grail Knight for day 3. Here is the unit that he's going in. As you can see, the first 2 knights are done and the damsel is done at the back. So fitting this unit in means we have 2 knights left to paint. A couple of images. I usually take photographs on black and you do get some black in a minute, but he was so dark that it was actually really hard to see, so I had to change contrast and stuff. So I put a bit of white behind it just to give you an idea of what it actually looks like. And then I'm going to pull it back into some black background using a couple different shades of light, just so you can get a final look at what he is. And then of course I'm going to show him next to the first 2 knights. So this is the first trio of Grail Knights painted up by me. And like I said, I'm still very proud of this unit so far. Okay guys, and there we have it, another finished Grail Knight. I definitely think the scheme worked. I definitely think it blends in with the other 2 models in the unit perfectly, and I'm very happy with the results. I just have 2 more Grail Knights left, 1 video for Thursday, 1 video for Friday, and then potentially I will give you guys a battle report on Saturday, which is my Night Goblin army fighting against a Skaven army, which is going to be really cool as well. So flooding you guys with old world content this week. If that's something that you enjoy, make sure you give the video a like. Make sure you ask me any questions you want in the comments below. I'll get back to each and every one of you guys. And if you're enjoying this content, you want to see loads more of it, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. I'm actually planning to do a Titan giveaway this year. So at the end of this year, depending on where I am subscription-wise, I'll be giving away a Titan. So if I'm at 65,000 subscribers, it'll be a Warhound. If I'm at 85,000 subscribers, it'll be a Reaver. And if I manage to get to my goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I'm going to give away a Warlord Titan. So if that's something that interests you, hit that subscribe button. Okay guys, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.